So good morning or afternoon, depending on from where in the world you are joining us. We are excited here for the Catch Up with Red Team webinar today. My name is Jen. I'm with Red Team, and walking you some of our Flex releases today alongside some of the other folks on our team who I'll introduce here in just a minute. But just wanted to kind of open us up and start by talking a little bit about today's webinar. The purpose of the session today is going to be to update you on some of the latest releases in RedTeam Flex. So if you are a current RedTeam Flex client, you are in the right place. We're excited to show you guys some of the things that we have improved on and added recently today. So there is a chat where you can reach out and do that. And we'll also, at the end, of course, take a moment to make sure that we take that you guys have at that time as well. So I think most of our audience here is familiar with Red Team, but just kind of to reiterate, right? We are a company built by contractors, for contractors, and so we are going to be covering features today that are aimed to benefit your business as a contractor. And these features are things that we're going to showcase a little bit of today. But if you want to get a little bit more information on them, we're also going to have some info on how you can do that as well as we move forward. All right, so I already introduced myself, Jen, but I'm today by a bunch of members from our product team. Neil, Carrie, and Nicole are all going to be presenting topics as well today. Presentation. The agenda that we're going to be going over is the bid form and bid leveling. So we're going to be talking about some new pre-con features that we're going to talk about the Red Team Flex and Field, a feature you're already using with Field. If not, you can find out more about how you could. And then finally, the lien waiver management. I'll be covering a little bit about the new features available for managing your lien waivers and lien law documents. And then finally, the of the submittals. We're going to have Nicole join and give us a little bit of a sneak peek on those items as well. Turn it over to Neil and let Neil share a little bit more about these features.
Thanks, Jennifer. So first thing we're going to start off with is bid leveling, and we're going to go over some of the value in bid leveling. So bid leveling is a crucial process for construction companies aiming to optimize their pre-construction phase. By systematically comparing and evaluating bids from different subcontractors and suppliers, a construction company can achieve several key business values, which we've laid out here on this slide. First thing we're going to start off with is cost efficiency. Bid leveling helps identify the most competitive and realistic bids, ensuring that the company selects offers that provide the best value for money. This can significantly reduce overall project costs and prevent budget overruns. Next, we have transparency and collaboration. The bid leveling process promotes transparency, providing a clear, objective comparison of all submitted bids. This helps in maintaining fairness and avoiding potential disputes or favoritism. A transparent and fair bid leveling process fosters stronger relationships with subcontractors and suppliers. It ensures that all parties understand the criteria used for selection, which can improve trust and cooperation and also enhance your relationship with your subs. Next, we have informed decision-making. With a structured evaluation of bids, the company can make well-informed decisions based on detailed analysis rather than gut feelings or incomplete formula information. This leads to a better selection of subcontractors and suppliers who align with the project needs and goals. Next, we have risk management, which truthfully is one of the most important parts of any project. By evaluating the completeness and accuracy of each bid, bid leveling helps identify potential risks or issues early in the process. This can prevent costly surprises during the construction phase and improve overall project risk management. And lastly, we have competitive advantage. Efficient bid leveling can lead to more competitive pricing and better project outcomes, giving the construction company an edge over competitors who may not employ such a thorough evaluation process. So with all of these values, they are very important to whenever you're running your pre-construction. And with bid leveling, we can help you go ahead and get the most value out of the software. Next, we're going to talk about some of the features of bid leveling. There we go. And here we have some of the bid leveling features that we have, which can help you streamline your bid management. So we have the ability for you to create bid packages and multiple cost codes. This allows bidders to submit quotes for multiple trades in a single package. We also have the new collaborative bid forms. bid forms that update with the latest information instantly. So this is where your subcontractors or suppliers can go ahead and fill out the bid form, and immediately you'll see that translate into your bid package. So you can instantly move on to the bid comparison and leveling, which include and exclude items for a should cost comparison between bidders. And lastly, we have the bid leveling output report. This allows you to go ahead and attach your bid package and bid comparison to a client proposal easily. It's simply a selection, which we're going to show in a demo in a moment here. And you can just click it on, turn it on there, and it'll automatically connect to the proposal without you having to go ahead and print and format or put out anything for anyone to see all of your bid comparison. All right. And next, we're going to go into the bid demo. So we're just going to show a couple quick things here. Let me go ahead and pull it up. All right. So here we're inside of one of our test databases, just to show off some of the bid leveling features. So for those of you who haven't seen it, we're just going to go into the estimate. And here in the estimate, we have our bid packages. Now the bid packages can be built for anything you'd like to do. So right now we do have 2 actual bid packages in here, one for the demo and site prep, another for framing and roofing. I'm just going to open up the framing and roofing one right now. So here we can actually see, as we talked about earlier, this has multiple different cost codes inside of it, allowing you to go ahead and set up the bid package however you would like to have it provide the needed cost codes and different trades to create whatever you're making inside your project. You can do it by phase, you can do it by trade, you can do it by type of work done. Anything that you would like to do it there will allow you to set up and create the bid package that you mean to do. In here, we have the bidders and the cost codes. And now we have the ability to do the bid form. So you would go ahead and send out to your supplier or subcontractor. And this is what the bid form will look like. It'll actually have all the information they'll need. It'll provide project, what the description is, and then they'll be able to go ahead and enter their amounts directly inside from their email. So they click the email, you send them out the bid form, they open this up, they fill out the information. Once they've entered everything, it'll automatically update inside your bid package, allowing quick and easy collaboration between you and your actual people that you've invited to bid. Next, we have the bid comparison and leveling. So we have options to go ahead and open up these quote cards. You can also look directly in here, but if you have lots of bidders, you can actually open up the quote cards. And what's really cool about them is it gives you the ability to move them around the screen. So you can just simply put 2 of your actual subcontractors or vendors next to each other and compare their bids immediately. And then we have, as you listed, with the should cost down here, which is calculated based upon what they have included or excluded from their bids. So we actually allow you to go ahead and do that information and easily compare right there and then. And lastly, for the bid leveling output, once you've done all that information, you'll be able to go ahead and quickly attach it to your proposal. Proposal attachments, you see here, just turn on which of the bid leveling you want to show on it. And then when you go ahead and send out your proposal to your client, there we go. I'm just going to jump to the bottom of this test proposal we have here. And there you go. So it'll show all of the bid leveling you had on there and also who you selected as best. And you'll be able to go ahead and show all that information directly on the proposal. You can select which actual bid packages you want to include on there. And once again, it's an easy and efficient way of giving your clients more information about your bid leveling process.
Yeah, the only thing I would add there is that actually we'll share the screen and talk about it. That if you are not yet using bid packages, right, that there is some configuration that needs to be done. If you're interested in learning a little bit more about the upgraded pre-con features, you can connect with our team to do that. This will connect you to your CSM. This is something that will make available as well with the presentation. All right, thank you, Neil. I appreciate it. All right, I think we can go ahead and move to Carrie.
Yes, thank you, Jennifer. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We're going to be presenting as well the new RedTeam Flex and freelance integration. For those folks that are joining us today that are not familiar with freelance, freelance is a powerful tool we have that is designed specifically for job site communication. It helps you manage tasks and track progress and keep everyone on the same page by providing real time updates on what's happening in the field for people that are in the office as well. You can capture daily reports, share photos, or track punch lists. Freelance makes sure that every piece of information flows seamlessly from across all the team members in your project. So what we're going to see today is we're releasing a new tool for this integration. If you use both RedTeam Flex and Freelance, all the projects will post seamlessly from RedTeam to Freelance when they are created. Also, anything that you upload for your drawing sets, it will be posted in Freelance for your team to share, right? So let me see. All the change orders and addendums plans that you upload in RedTeam Flex, once those scope changes are committed, they will also post all the drawings into Freelance for all your teams and to be in the same page, literally. So this is some key benefits for this integration is when you create a project in RedTeam Flex, it will automatically sync to Freelance. Now, not only does this include the project itself, but also the team members, the project scopes once they are authorized, and the drawings that are included in any of those scope changes. They are all transferred automatically between both platforms. If you at some point cancel any of those scope changes, don't worry because those drawings will be removed from freelance. So, your team is updated and they will all see the same set of drawings at all times. If you demo the scope and you make any changes to drawings that maybe you replace some pages or add new ones, once you authorize that scope, it will also seamlessly post into freelance for everyone. Anything that you supersede or change or do either addendums or scope changes in freelance will be saved as a version of a drawing. So when you go to see the drawing, in this slide, you can see that on the right side, you're going to see the previous versions of that. And you can use the compare tool to overlap and see the changes on both comparison drawings that you have. Yes. By integrating the two platforms, we're also enhancing the team collaboration. Whether you're on the field or in the office, everyone will have access to the same project data in real time. This means quicker decision making, faster problem solution, and more teamwork collaboration. It's an easier way to send drawings and update in freelance. It also sends the projects as the drawings and also track any version of the drawings that you push to your project. There is also so many changes going on in the day to day that you don't have to worry about if your team in the job site have the latest version with team player, sorry, Red Team Flex and freelance, you will have everything covered. It tracks the versions and all. If your project finishes in RedTeam Flex and you close the project will also be closed in freelance as well. So thank you for sending your questions on the chat. If you want to learn more about this integration, please feel free to use the QR code in the screen. You can reach out to our team and request a demo, or we can also solve any questions you may have.
It looks like we did get a question, Carrie. If you
Yes,
want to
yeah,
take it or
I'm
me.
seeing the question now. So yes, the question is, if I delete an addendum, will the drawing delete from freelance as well? Yes, of course. If you delete addendums in RedTeam Flex, it will remove the drawings in freelance. It's the same for change orders. Like if you change any drawing that you add to a change order, or you cancel the total scope change order, everything that is linked to that scope change, let's say drawings, will be removed from freelance automatically.
Well, keep in mind we will take questions also at the end, right? So if you think of other things, feel free to throw them in the Q&A or at the end too. We reserve time for that.
Yes.
Okay,
If
thanks,
you don't
Gary.
have anything to add, Jennifer, just we can continue.
Perfect. Okay. Then I'm gonna take over and talk a little bit about lien waivers. Okay. So before we actually jump into the details of our lien waiver features in Flex, I just want to talk a little bit about why it's so essential, right? So we understand that on construction projects, your risk, especially financial risk, is always a concern. And this is, risk from disputes or missed payments or unfiled documents, right? And we know that that can be affected by lien waivers in a lot of ways, right? This can get really complicated really fast. So we understand how crucial it is to maintain your cash flow and manage all of your risk. Obviously, we understand that, right? Your contracts that you create are designed to push your risk down, but the statutory rights and legal requirements related to lien waivers can push this risk right back up. So, our solution is to address these challenges by giving you tools to be able to manage those lien waivers, tracking all of your claimants, whether that's your immediate contracted subcontractors or additional tiers of claimants underneath them. You'll be able to track documents for all of those companies, and it's integrated as part of your vendor invoice approval process. And so that's critical too. We're going to take a look at those things as well. So let's actually talk a little bit about the features that we have now in RedTeam Flex for lien law management. So we have given you the ability to configure lien law forms. This is, if you are using our lien waivers features, an unlimited number of forms that you can set up that can be set up designed to track specific compliance with your various venues that you work in, right? So we have the ability to set up as well all of those venues or locations, maybe states that you work in, and then configure your templates to follow that, right? You can have specific templates for your specific venues. You can also configure the tiers of claimants that you want to track, an unlimited number of those as well. And then, of course, you can create the actual templates themselves using form fields that can fill in information from the project, of course, so saving time that way. And then obviously you can issue and track those documents themselves. We also have the ability to track additional documents, not just lien waivers. So I'll show a little bit of that very briefly today too. And then we do have the ability to send those documents for signature. So these are all really awesome features that are designed to streamline the process of collecting those waivers, tracking those waivers, ensuring compliance through the invoice approval process and beyond. So let's take a quick look at that. I am just going to have to switch my screen here. So I can share. Okay. And I'm going to start by sharing in RedTeam Flex. Very quickly, just want to talk a little bit about the tracking, the overall tracking on a project. So I'm not going to get in today to configuration and all of that. These are things that actually our teams are going to help you with should you start using this. And then from there inside of a project, the idea is that you can start tracking all of the various claimants that you have. Now, some of these will get set up automatically, right? So we have the ability, for instance, to automatically add a claimant when you issue a subcontract agreement to them or another type of commitment, whatever your company happens to be using. But in addition to that, you can start to add additional sub tiers of claimants underneath those claimants that you are already contracted with. So under your subs, anybody else, maybe you get some preliminary notices or NTOs and you want to start setting those claimants up in here, and you can start even tracking those documents. So not only can I upload in here lien waivers, but any documents, any forms that I want to set up. So, I might have a notice to owner, a prelim notice that I want to go ahead and load in here. And we're going to track all of those documents for all of the claimants on the project. Now, how does this tie into the invoice approval process and how to actually issue these waivers? Is another thing I want to share with you today. So I'm going to go into actually a project with a invoice, and imagine this is something you could do in from your inbox, right? So a project manager or anybody who's part of the approval process will have the ability to review all the invoice details, and as part of that invoice approval process, we'll be able to see the status of the lien waivers for not only that main claimant, the subcontractor that we currently have this contract with, but also any of their sub-tier claimants I chose to track in RedTeam as well. And not only can I request documents from my main subcontractor, but all of those sub-tiers as well from the screen, right? And so this is going to give me automatically any templates that I have configured and set up for my company. I can generate those directly from here. So we're just having to switch screens to do that. Should I need to, I can email these out to vendors, and then just very quickly to show you what that looks like from the other side. Our vendors who receive emails from you asking them to sign lien waivers will be able to open those. Those vendors will be able to see the waivers, sign them, communicate with you. They will do so using Team Player. This is free for them to use. We will use it in order to authenticate them for a signature, not unlike other signature services that I'm sure you guys are familiar with and have used in the past. Very common. They will just simply need to set up an account. Most of their information will already be there, or if they're already using Team Player, then they can just they're either already logged in or they'll log into their account, and we'll have the ability to go in and sign these documents. The notifications will be sent automatically to all of the different parties who are tracking these lien waivers. And then, of course, inside of Flex, we'll have those updates made once those documents get signed. And so that's the new process. We're going to be able to see those documents in here. We'll get email notifications about them, but it's a really, really cool new feature. Again, it's unlimited number of templates and lien waivers that you need to send out. So just something to keep in mind. And speaking of which, I will just switch back here to my other screen really briefly. Right. And go to that screen where we can talk about this. So if you are interested in using some of these features and getting started and setting up some lien waiver templates and all of that, then you can go ahead and contact us for a little bit more info on that. We do actually have a couple of codes here that you can scan right now. We'll share those links out as well for the attendees, but you can scan these and you can either go start watching a video on how kind of some of the features of Team Player work, not only lien waivers, but some additional ones as well. And then also, if you just want to go ahead and get started and you're really eager, you can connect with your CSM and we'll help you get everything set up that you need to. All right. Okay, I'm going to leave that up just for a minute here. And I just want to quickly add that we are now offering some 3 months free here. So this is just another quick kind of bonus here for those of you who are in this webinar. This is something you could actually just go ahead and try out. And like I mentioned, we didn't get into the other features of Team Player today, but you can actually scan this and get a little bit more about that because the 3 months free that we're offering also includes features related to construction billing. So something that if you're not already using, it's a great thing to tie in with lien waivers as well, because you can then have your subs using Team Player to submit their invoices, their billing, and also through that, then you're able to generate the waivers. They can see the status and so forth. So a little more information there about that, but we would love for you to sign up. Okay. All right, we could always come back to this if we need to, but at this point, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Nicole.
Thanks, Jen. All right, like we referenced earlier, we're going to get a quick sneak peek into submittals. You're going to see a poll pop up right here. We're going to have some additional interviews for submittals and the workflow. Our next round is actually going to be about specifically collaboration with external team members. So if you're interested in participating in any of our upcoming interviews with regard to the submittals workflow, please feel free to let us know here. We're also going to be trying to meet with some owners, architects, and vendors as well. So if you have any of those in mind that you think might want to speak with us, maybe someone who's told you in the past that either they like or dislike certain things about submittals within RedTeam, we would be happy to talk to them. So feel free to answer that poll. And just before we take a look at that sneak peek of submittals, kind of going along with the interviews that I was talking about here, I just wanted to give a little look into how we're changing our approach on how we deliver software. So in terms of bigger feature updates or a complete redesign like we're doing with submittals now, what we're really doing is making sure that we give you the solution that best works for you and your external team. So we're holding in-depth client interviews to kind of get a sense of some initial pain points and needs and things ahead of time. Then what we do is we have some internal designs that we work on. We have internal design review here. We get some conceptual designs. We will then schedule interviews with our clients. We'll present these designs just to get some feedback on, are the things pretty self-explanatory? Do things work as you imagine that they should before we begin to actually put things into production or work on engineering to make sure, again, that we're not kind of wasting time moving in a direction that's not going to work for everyone. So what we do after that initial set of interviews is we iterate on our designs. If there are things that were confusing, things that don't make sense or people don't really like, then we come up with our next set of conceptual designs. We iterate, we will have another set of interviews. So we've done this a few times now. And as I referenced before, we're about to start it again for some other concepts. So again, this is all really to make sure that we're doing exactly what you and your team need. We want to make everything really efficient. We want to make it easy to use. We know that there's turnover on your teams. So even if when you initially start using RedTeam solutions, the training is great and you learn how to use everything, but when you have turnover, when you have new employees, clearly we want them to be able to pick things up as quickly as possible without a lot of training necessary. So we're just really trying to make everything quite easy to use and more intuitive. All right, and we can turn that poll off now. All right, so this is just a quick preview of the new screen when you're going to upload your submittals. You're going to have the option like you have now to import. There's also going to be some items that you can export or extract directly from your spec book. We're not showing that part here. We're still designing that. But we've got the import and we've got the ability to add manually. So this is really just a blank state screen. And what you see here, once you click to add submittal items, if you do so manually, it's really going to look like a spreadsheet. It's going to function very much the same way. You'll have the ability to change the order of the columns that you see, which columns you see, so you can create any kind of views for yourself and external team members that you'd like, any different kind of log view, any statuses that you want to see. We'll have different ways that you can sort by all of these columns. You can choose which columns remain sticky. So when you want to scroll over, if you choose to have all of the columns up in your log view, then you can scroll over and keep track of what items that you're looking at or what groups of items you might be viewing. So again, this is just a concept design. This is kind of what we're on after a few rounds of interviews. We have additional screens and designs that we've already met with clients about. But again, I just wanted to give kind of a quick overview into this just to let you know that there's no more, as you're building out or managing items, there's no more clicking through various screens where you might potentially kind of get lost in what you're doing. We wanted to, again, make it feel more like a spreadsheet experience, be able to kind of tab through, quickly see what you want. You're going to have total control over the information that you see and how you interact with your log. And the other big change, if you take a look there, you can see there's a court column. So we're building out a new ball and court workflow. So your teams can choose as many levels of reviewers as necessary. We'll have parallel and sequential levels of approval. So again, the goal is just to make sure that this is very user-friendly for you and your teams to allow you to work the way you need to. And we will be having additional interviews with regard to how you collaborate with those external team members. And again, if you know any architects that might be willing to talk to us, owners, vendors, or you've gotten feedback in the past from these team members about things that ideally they would like to see to make it easier for them to interact with us as well, please feel free to reach out, either contact your CSM, use our live chat feature, just let them know you want to get in touch with somebody about submittal. So again, I know that was a quick sneak peek. We're still designing everything. I don't want to put too much out there yet in case things change, but just wanted you to know we're really trying to streamline that process for you. All right. And I see a question about when it will be released. We're still in the design stages, and because We don't know exactly what the workflow will be in the end, since we're still designing everything and working with clients. I don't yet have a time frame. We are months out from it. As we know more, we will be in touch to let everybody know when they can expect the release.
Yeah, great point. Yeah, so we're really excited about submittals. I'll just reiterate that and reiterate what Nicole mentioned and what the poll had right earlier is, if you're interested in providing feedback, like we really value that. And this is a great time. We joke all the time, nobody likes managing submittals, right? So I'm sure you all have pain points that you can think of that you'd like to share with us, right? These are the kinds of things we like to hear when we're building solutions. So please reach out, and if you didn't get a chance to answer that poll, you reach out to us to either your CSM on chat, however they'll get us your info. Okay, awesome. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna take a look. We have some questions, I think, so let's just open up the Q&A. If you guys have other questions, please feel free to open up that Q&A and add some in there. We'll start taking a look now. I do see one that I can handle right here with the lien management. So going back to lien waivers, how does the new lien management feature integrate with the existing workflows in RedTeam? Great question. There's a few different ways, right? So one is, like I mentioned, when setting up claimants. So one of the things you may decide to do is set up your commitment. Specifically, what we would recommend is a subcontract agreement, if you have one, is to set that up to automatically add that sub as a claimant on any job. So what that would mean is you don't change anything about the workflow of issuing a commitment today. You still build the subcontract in RedTeam as normal, but what that would do is automatically insert that person as a claimant. And then on top of that, you would still set up additional claimants. So there'd be a little bit of a new workflow there. If you're not already tracking lien waiver claimants on a job, then you would need to start setting up those additional sub-tier claimants. And like I kind of briefly showed, you could start loading in documents like prelim notices and NTOs and things like that from those additional claimants even before you start issuing waivers. So that's one way. But the biggest way that it integrates right with the workflows is through the vendor invoice approval process. And so I did briefly show that, but basically that happens automatically because there is already a step in the invoice approval workflow to review the lien waivers. There's nothing extra you need to do. If you're, like I said, already setting up the claimants, then automatically those claimants will appear there because we know who they are. Then we know that they're linked to that commitment and that invoice. And then basically what happens is from there, you'll see the status, the latest waiver you have on file for any of those claimants. You'll see any notice dates as well if you have any NTOs on file from that screen. And then, of course, you can issue waivers from there and you'll be able to, through that same workflow, again, no new screen, no additional place to go, just directly in that vendor invoice approval, that step, you'll see the status, right? Have they executed the waiver and signed it fully? Are you waiting on them? You can then open it up, right? Nudge them if you need to, send them a message. But either way, then right from that screen, when you're ready and everybody has executed all their documents appropriately, you can go ahead and approve your invoice. So that's the main workflow it integrates with. There's another question about lien waivers. Are there any customizable settings within the lien management feature to meet specific project needs? So that's going to kind of depend on what you're looking for. This is something we would love to talk to you about, right? So if you reach out to your CSM through that code I mentioned earlier, then that we showed earlier, and I could certainly go back to that if we need to. But either way, that is going to be the best way we could talk to you about what specific workflows you guys might have. We do already have a lot of capability built in, right? When you set up a template, you can select, for example, which should that supersede prior waivers, right? Should that close out so that we always have a latest waiver? Are there certain types of documents that will close out things like, for example, a lien claim, right? A satisfaction of lien on a lien claim. Those types of flows we can build. So again, we'll just have to kind of see your specific case. We can look at that with you on a case by case basis. Okay, what systems or software can the lien management feature integrate with for example, your accounting software, document management systems, etc. So right now, the lien management feature exists only inside of RedTeam Flex, but keep in mind because Flex integrates with, for instance, several different accounting features, that could become essentially part of your workflow. So if you are already using, let's say, a Sage accounting system, or you're using QuickBooks Online, this is something you could integrate, and then your invoice approval workflow happens in Flex along with the lien waiver tracking. All of that happens, executes through there, and the information is sent to your accounting system. So it would work in that way. If you're looking for, again, something a little bit more specific, another type of software, reach out to CSM. We can help answer some of those questions for you as well. All right. And then finally, what kind of support or training does RedTeam offer for users adopting this new feature? An excellent question also for your CSM. They'll be able to, again, help you. It's going to depend on kind of where you are at. If you're a recent client who is kind of still in implementation or recently out of implementation, that may differ than if you're a long-term client, been with us several years. But we do have options either way. So the CSM will be able to kind of help you with that setup, any training that's needed. Of course, kind of on a self-service model, we do have help articles, things like that you can read through to get yourself set up. But certainly a great question that a CSM can get much more in detail with you to come up with a customized solution for you. Okay. All right, that appears to be most of our questions so far. Let me just double check here with our team that we don't have anything else. Okay. All right, and there should be in the chat some links for, like I said, like those QR codes that we shared earlier. So if you didn't get a chance to get to those codes, the links are in there. You could go ahead and click on those. But please do feel free to reach out. There's no obligation, just reaching out. You can get some more info. We can give you all of your options. So we'll be looking forward to hearing from you guys. We are really excited about all these features. So if you can think of other questions, I see we don't have anything else in the chat right now or in the Q&A. So we'll probably start closing it up here. But if you think of something later, if you share this with your team, right, and you come up with some ideas, again, great opportunity to reach out to CSM, get some more questions answered and some more info on all of these new features. All right. Well, thank you again, you guys, for joining us this afternoon or morning, again, depending on where you are. We really appreciate your time and attention. And if there is anything else we can help with, please feel free to reach out. Have a great rest of your day and a great week, y'all. Take care.